So, two interesting back-to-back events talking about Adam, Eve, the devil in the garden. And this was Thursday night, RCIA, Catholic group. And then this morning at a marriage one-day event at a church in Forest Hill that Adele and I go to with some friends. And the Thursday night, it was about Mariology and Mary and the saints, okay? So, who is Mary? What is her role in the Catholic Church? Obviously, she's a big deal for them. And basically, what the gist of it was, when the devil saw Eve, woman, for the first time, he said, okay, I know what this is. This is the means by which God becomes a man. And so he attacks her. He has his sights on her to attack her. Makes sense then, how the story goes, that she was initiated to first by the devil with the temptation. And then, of course, we know what happens. Mary ends up being the mother of God. And now we've got Mary as the mother of God and the mother of the church. The Catholic tradition goes as far to say. Obviously, Protestants don't really refer to her in those ways exactly, but there's a good argument to be made there for that. Okay, so now let's fast forward to this morning. The correlation this morning was also very interesting. This is not a Catholic context. This is just a nice evangelical church that we've been attending for some months now. And there they were saying, again, in the context of marriage, that they were, obviously Adam and Eve were in the garden, were naked, and there's something, and the devil is referred to in that chapter 3, verse 1 as crafty. And in the Hebrew, naked, the Hebrew word for naked and the Hebrew word for crafty or subtle, depending on the translation, rhymes in the Hebrew. And it's true. I looked it up and I was like, oh wow, these are okay. So there's something going on there, a rhyming scheme in Hebrew that, of course, we would never know in a million years reading it as English speakers. And that really these verses should go right up against each other, even though they don't, because one is at the end of chapter 2, I think verse 25 it is, and then the next is chapter 3, verse 1, and really they should be read together, and and allow the rhyming scheme to take place. And so a good rhyme, again, this was given in the conference this morning. I don't know where he got it from. It's too good. Not that he couldn't have made it up, but is that Adam and Eve were nude and the devil was shrewd. So there was a way to make it rhyme in English, like it did in Hebrew, in the original language. So there's this big emphasis on Adam and Eve's nakedness. What does that mean? And that the devil was, of course, cunning and had this plan to attack them. You know, you could talk about gender, you could talk about male and female, you could talk about marriage, you could talk about Christ's intention of marrying the church. The church is the bride of Christ. Obviously, God always intended for a special relationship with mankind, his creation in general, and mankind specifically. But it was just kind of great to go back to the roots of the creation story from these two angles that complemented each other very nicely. I just wanted to share that.